Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick update, and of course, I'm lazy. We'll see exactly how quick is. It's been a lovely, semi-boring week. Of course, we're perpetually broke, but that's part of the game. I did get a little bit of a boost. I'm not allowed to do a shout out, but I did get a little bit of boost, and quite frankly, that put some groceries in my house that would not have been there otherwise. So we have enough to basically survive until paychecks come. Now, I just did a reading, and I swear to God, uh, this poor lady, Zoom did not want to cooperate and behave. We finally got onto Skype, and there were some delays, but it got done. Unfortunately, most of it was taken up with me being a chatterbox. I swear, the reading itself, it takes approximately 15 minutes. The other half an hour is me chattering or trying to find out, how the last one went, if I did one for you, and just me basically being me and overly long-winded and ridiculous and just, yeah, just me being me. So she tolerated it quite well. Hopefully the reading turns out well for her. It was nice to handle my old deck. I will say my deck does not like me, but it likes everybody else and is real smooth and cooperative, and I'd forgotten what that's like because I was using a deck that is just uncooperative, and I've been doing it for the last couple of years. So trying to parse out a reading with this deck was insane because it didn't know what it was doing. But it was nice to have a reading that just smooth and flowing and seemed to be exactly what she was looking for. So yay that. And some of the money from that reading will go into my gas tank, which kind of needs the boost itself. Tomorrow I'm probably going to be naughty and write a check that should float us out until Thursday, which is our payday, to get a little bit of, extra essentials into the house, and to get us by a little bit better. The whole rob Peter to pay Paul thing, but it's one of those things. The money will be there by the time they actually deposit and process the check, so I'm not worried about that. It has been quite a lovely week in many ways. I have taken to parking on top of the parking garage facing another entrance, and that seems to have worked out well. Fewer electrical problems. I also got validation because one of the other security was like, oh, I think I know exactly where you were parking. And yeah, this area here seems to have issues to the point where, from the way he was hinting at, patients walking by sometimes have problems. So I'm guessing the magnetics in that area, because of all the metal, where it's located, yada, 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 electrical lines probably around it, cause some issues. Let's just put it that way. My car is not the only one that's had problems. So that's a relief and kind of horrifying to know. I'm like, then just block off this area. I know you need the parking spaces, but do you need to be jumping people like every 5 minutes? So, oh, noisy people everywhere outside. But yeah, so that was kind of interesting to have that validated. But it also explains if there's like loopy magnetics there, like the high anxiety I was getting while sitting there, because it's like my body was picking up on it, my car was picking up on it. We were suspicious there for a while that maybe because January 6th we took the Jeep in for an FCA mandated update, that the dealership up the road, which was the same dealership that literally almost 3 years ago, well, 2 to 3 years ago, ran us off the property. We were homeless at the time, but we hadn't quite been there at the homeless point for that long. And we came to have the electrics looked at because, of course, she was going insane at that time, because she was adjusting to everything here. And they ran us off. Didn't even want to look. Were not the slightest bit interested. So I took it there to get the FCA Powertrain update, and I was worried they'd take it. I still occasionally have that worry in the back of my mind that maybe, because these are the only people who can access the master computer. The garage that I take it to does not have Jeep codes like that. I mean, they can read the codes, but they can't affect the computer. You have to have special authorization to do that. And so, I keep it in the back of my mind that a lot of the issues we were having may not have just been the garage, but could have been a cascade failure because of tinkering, which I might be biased, but I would not put past this garage. I really wouldn't, because there was a major difference between the me of January and the me of 2 years ago, and how most likely I looked and how I walked and how I comported myself. And of course, a lot of it was we didn't know the area either, so that didn't help. So I might be slightly biased, but I'm keeping an eye out because I know when it comes to computers, it can happen at any time, and we only recently started having issues over the last couple of months. The garage may have exacerbated it, but may not have been the cause of it. So we're just keeping an eye on it because, quite frankly, I wouldn't put it past these guys. I really wouldn't. A way to make more money, have you come in and have us have a look at your computer? Yeah, you're the only ones who can touch the computer. So if something goes wrong after 2.5 years, maybe 3 here, and it's my computer. See where I'm going with that? There you go. Yeah, I was hoping not to make this 5 million years. But either which way, no electrical incidents whatsoever from the computer system, which, quite frankly, is nice. But I don't know what happened. But I had oh my gosh, on Sunday, and I was texting with poor T at the same time and never said anything because she was having a groovy day. So I just I'm not gonna bring her day down. I had the worst stomach pain. And the bad thing is, whenever I have any type of stomach issue, which is rare, I mean, I will say I used to be known when I was a teenager for eating lead bullets and shoe leather. I mean, I could have done that and gotten away with it. But it always on the left. It's always on the left. It's always the middle of my stomach, on the left. And it was associated with accompanying back problems. And I'm oh yeah, I know what that usually is. Something has disagreed with me, or I've been eating in my sleep, or any number of things, which means that, let's not be delicate here, I was just completely filled with air. And I compounded the mistake by thinking, well, I'll just eat something, and that might be part of the problem, and I'll feel better. Oh my God. This is the second time that I have eaten breakfast there and have really come to, not... The last time it was oh, maybe that wasn't a good idea. This time it hardcore was not a good idea. I was sweating. It was so bad. You know me, guys. I have been injured. I have done everything of my own accord. The worst thing for me is stomach pain. I love food. I love everything to do with that. And it was just freaking crippling. I told myself, I'm if this is still on by 10 o'clock, I'm done. I'm freaking leaving. Even though there's a hospital right in front of me. I'm done. By 10 o'clock, it was gone, but it was intermittent throughout the day. It was just, yeah. A couple of times I think I experienced almost a shock point because I was in constant pain. And you know how when you first wake up, this is how I described it to my elders, when you first wake up, you stand up too fast. And it's everything goes... Yeah, I had that while sitting in the car. I look up from my book, which I was using to distract myself, and occasionally looking at the parking lot and watching people move. And just everything... And I'm that's probably a shock reaction because you've been in pain way too long and you're not doing anything about it. Yeah, it was a really bad day. Let's put it this way. I came home, declared it was a fend for thyself night, did not know we were almost out of bread, did not know we were almost out of everything. Got back out of bed, rummaged around. I'm like, here, guys, there's like pizza rolls and stuff, and there's still ramen. I'm sorry, it's just not happening today. Just the idea of food was like terrifying to me. I'm like, there's just no way, no. Um, so yeah, I went to bed. Um, it was like 8, 9 o'clock at night before I finally fell out. And then I woke up at 5, woke up at 6, and then like woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was fine. I mean, it was 10 times better. I didn't have my stomach doing that amazing expanding, shrinking thing anymore, and I just felt 10 times better, and I'm like, ooh, but I'm gonna tell you, I was starving but cautious, so that was really the most earth-shattering thing that happened this week. Um, I'm extremely happy because where I'm parking, obviously, is good for my car. The only thing that's going to suck is that when it starts to get hot in July and August, I'm going to be sitting there sweating to death in long sleeves. So I'm probably going to be taking a lot more rounds inside the garage where it's nice and cool, so I'm not like burning to death in my car. Um, but yeah, I mean it's actually been quite a lovely week. Like I said, it's tight. When isn't it? I had to caution my husband to be patient. I'm like, this is the catch-up time. You know, I was supposed to start working almost immediately. I got delayed by 3 weeks. This is what happens. This is how it happens. We had to have some help to get us to this point. Now it's just the catching up. And quite frankly, after this next rent, we should be fine. Little things like doing tarot readings and stuff like that will definitely help. Like I said, I did one today, and it went swimmingly, and I'm so happy that it did. Um, if you see the post and you want to pimp it, feel free. Go ahead. I've gotten a lot of reading jammed in. A lot of reading. I have decided who I definitely like when it comes to physics, because he doesn't talk to me like I'm an idiot, and he gives you some backstory to go with it. I believe his name is Michio Kaku. You'll see him on, like, you know, BBC, Discovery, things like that. He does a lot of Nova-esque type of things when he's describing physics, and it was really nice. And yes, it is research for my one podcast. I'm thinking of launching another just so I have a testing ground, kind of like a beta, so that I can make all my mistakes with that one before I do the one I'm truly interested in doing. I keep getting little observations in the back of my head from the main one, though, and I'm just crossing my fingers and hoping I mean, honestly, I'm going to have fun. I'm not expecting to do anything earth-shaking. I mean, look at my fiction. I have a couple of, I have a handful of, like, supremely faithful people who read my work and genuinely seem to like my work. I get drive-by hits and kudos on a variety of my fictions, at least once every other week. So it's not a lot. I don't have, like, a ton of readers, but I also don't have none. But I'm very much niche. So thinking any podcast I do is pretty much going to be the same thing. It'll be extremely niche. So I'm just expecting to have fun. Right now, everything is working towards that equipment. Still looking for, like, an extra job, like 2 days a week, but I'm not hardcore pushing for it. Hubby and I are going to go get blood tests done because the hospitals we work at for security require it. And we might be able to get extra jobs, because then we'll be able to get, like, a badge to get us through, and we'll be able to move around a bit, which would mean extra money in our pockets. So that is it. It is the most boring update on the planet, I'm quite sure. I'm sure that, as usual, watching paint dry is twice as interesting. I mean, who wants to, like, hit play and hear, it's been boring aside from some stomach pain and money's tight, but it's all cool. I used my tarot cards. That's pretty much what happened. Because I was looking to do my find my tarot cards, make sure they were all set up, ready to go for today, I actually put everything away in my magic cabinet. There's your excitement. My magic cabinet, which has been sitting without being arranged, uh, literally for 6 years, finally got everything arranged in her again. Because even when we were in Utah, I never put anything up. I never arranged the inside of the cabinet. I never put everything where it was supposed to be. The arrangements are slightly different this time, but I'm happy with it. And that means that we are here. And I've got my tarot cards, so I am 100% overjoyed. They work lovely. They were a fantastic gift. It's like I was telling the lady I was doing the reading for. I'm like, the cards don't like me at all, but they like everybody else. So it's nice to know those qualities still stand with them. But yeah, this is sheer laziness. I'm only doing this post out of sheer laziness. I'm going to go put gas in the car and pick up more library books. And then I'm going to watch some Only Murders in the Building, which I am enjoying immensely. One day maybe I'll post about all the books that I have read and let you know what I think of them. But I'm not usually a book reviewer, and let's just say that I'm getting a lot of reading under my belt, and I am amazed at the content that I'm bringing in. But it is also, reading kind of helps with keeping the neurons firing and keeps me from being bored in the skull, which leads to music, going to AA meetings, and forgoing chocolate. So keep your fingers crossed. I shall see you all soon. Hopefully I have a better update than everything's fine for 17 plus minutes. And that there's no more stomach pain to report, because that was bad. As in sweating bad. The bad thing, what's really bad about stomach pain is it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with you until you wake up the next day and look like you've been literally dragged through death's door and then tossed back out again. But this is the update. Everything seems to be going great, and that is all I could hope for. So keep your fingers crossed for us, guys. I will let you know if there is anything further. And of course, I'm catching up with all of you and enjoying reading up on you guys and making sure that everything's cool out there. But until I see you or you see me, take good care of yourselves, take good care of each other, and know that I love you.